Zercher Split Squat, just a standard variation. So with this, we're going to use this rollout today, but you could use a med ball, you could use a sandbag, you could use a cable if you set it up from the bottom and a bar coming out to do it. All of them the exact same technique, all of them maybe a slightly different use, but the exact same rules apply. So split squats already, just to do it without that so you can see. For a normal split squat, you'll be set up here. The stance would vary, but for most powerlifters that are pretty tight and strong, I tend to use a slightly shorter stance, so it ends up coming in about here to keep that the hips from getting overstretched. And then from here, I like to keep pressure on the big toe and on the inside of the foot. A lot of powerlifters try and roll out. We don't want any of that happening. We don't want this knee to flare out. What I want to see is big toe and inner foot planted into the ground, keeping contact the whole way through the movement, keeping the knee and the hip above the knee, all over the toes as you go through the movement as well. And then, just like all of our other drills, and I preach on this a lot, is keeping everything stacked. So tuck those hips underneath you, exhale those ribs down, get a little bit of abs happening, and you want to maintain that through the movement as well. So I know it's a lot to think about, but once you go through a little bit of a checklist and get your starting position correctly done, it'll make sense, and then going through the movement will be pretty easy. So the setup, I'm just going to put this in my elbows here, wrists facing me, elbows towards the ground, nice and close to my body. I'm not up here like this, just nice and close. Like I said, medium stance for me. And then from here, tucking my hips a little bit, exhaling down, looking forward, chest up, and just coming straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. I'm really not a fan of coming right forward or sitting right back or having a really long stance, so it's like this. Like I said, the stack is really important, keeping our hips, our chest, our head all stacked on top of each other, both from the front and from the side. You should be feeling a lot of quads in this, you should be getting a bit of glutes in this. If you start feeling a lot of hip flexors, lower back, you know that you've lost that position, and get back to your starting position, find your tuck and all that stuff again, and just go nice and slowly through the movement. As you can see, I'm using a pretty slow tempo. I'm not just dropping down and shooting up, using any muscle possible to get it done. It's a nice 2-3 second eccentric and a nice 2-3 second concentric. Keeping it controlled. If you have any questions about that, shoot us a message.